Entitled people demand too much. I'm your host, Tite. Let's read about a bunch. Our first one is from Cherries in the Rain. I love coffee and make and drink it every day at work. My job supplies us with ground coffee that's definitely not gourmet, but it gets the job done. 3 times in 6 months I've brought in better ground coffee and shared it with my coworkers by brewing a whole pot. I also brought in a couple of creamers to use instead of the supplied half and half. One coworker in particular latched on to this and now asks me every time I brew a pot if it's our company's coffee or my own. When I say it's the company's, she scoffs, but still drinks it. At least once a week she asks me if I brought coffee, when the last time was at least 2 months ago. Several times I've tried to nicely tell her that those were one-off times, and she seems to understand, but then will still ask me the next time she sees me. Today, she asked yet again, and said at the end, "Oh, you must not have gotten your raise since you don't bring in coffee anymore." To be honest, I saw red, and wanted to ask her why she was projecting her broke-assness onto me, since clearly she hasn't gotten any raises if she depends on me for coffee. Instead, I asked her why I would supply coffee for the office when we already have it for free. She started stammering about a coffee fund we could make, but honestly, I wasn't interested. If I had known I'd be hounded about it until the rest of my days, I never would have brought any in. What an entitled coworker. I mean, the way I see it, if she's complaining so much about the coffee, the quality of coffee, and if other people are bringing coffee in, why doesn't that coworker try to bring some in herself? This next one is by Mundane Ad 588. I'm visiting my in-laws in another European country and we went to the beach. It was not busy at all. We chose a spot and we set up our beach mat. Our 4-year-old starts to do what 4-year-olds do at the beach. About 20 minutes in, a woman sets up super close to us, about 2 meters away. It's weird because the beach is very empty, but whatever, we don't own the space. Sometime after that, she's sighing loudly, pointedly staring at us. She takes a call and is complaining on the phone about us. We speak English to each other, but we know the local language. My 4-year-old is too loud. The child gets too close to her. She's such a brat. We're so rude. These foreigners are ruining the place. So we switch to the local language, and she's looking at us with shock, and then looks sullen. After some time, she moves further along the beach. No idea why she chose to put herself in that situation. Guess some people enjoy having a reason to complain. I am 100% certain there are those Karens that wake up in the morning and just wonder how much drama they can cause and create in a single day. Because without the drama, it seems like they would literally wither away and fade. This next one is from Goddess Viking 86. Thank you everyone who has said get ring cam and security cameras. I already have security cameras on my property that send my phone footage whenever motion detecting sensors detect suspicious activity. I got home from work a little while ago and got a notification that my package was almost here. I go to wait for my delivery and when I get there, the truck is there. The driver knows me and as I'm signing for my package, my entitled neighbor storms over, but keeps a distance and demands the package the delivery driver has. If you've read my past stories, this is the same neighbor who has a restraining order on her from me. She tried having her sister and her sister's kid trespass on my property, etc. She hasn't learned her lesson. The driver tells her that it's not her package and he can't give her the package. She continued to demand the package, saying if she doesn't get given it, she'll storm over and grab it. I tell her if she takes another step forward, she's breaking the set number of how close the restraining order says she can get near me. She doesn't care and marches over, then screams, "Because of you, I'm separated from my husband and heading for divorce." I told her if she hadn't acted the way she's been acting towards me, her husband wouldn't be doing such a thing, because he grew tired of her entitled behavior. She eventually went off back to her house. Update. I got the delivery driver's name and number so they can prove they witnessed neighbor break the restraining order, then say I called the police. The last thing I heard while being outside a few minutes ago was a loud scream of, "I didn't break any fucking restraining order." Update. The next morning, August 30th, 2025. I went down to my mailbox and entitled neighbor's husband walks over. He's not on the restraining order, and the loud scream she did was her yelling at the police. As a result, she got herself arrested for breaking the terms of the restraining order, assaulting an officer, and for resisting arrest. She just tried to call him a few minutes earlier asking for bail, but he told her he's not paying that. Update. September 4th, 2025. The wife has been sentenced to 1 year and 210 days in prison, with her receiving a year for assaulting the officer who said she was under arrest. Resisting arrest, she was given 60 days, and for breaking her restraining order, she got 150 days. The judge also was told how her husband was seeking a divorce and said the divorce will be handled after her jail sentence. Upon her release, she is to be transferred to her next of kin, to stay there under ankle monitor until the divorce trial. I mean, I guess one could say at least this entitled insane fucking neighbor is now no more the neighbor. They're an ex-neighbor and kind of getting their comeuppance for their entitled and crazy behavior. This next one is by Weak Currency 6453. Came home a few times last week to find an extension lead snaking from my neighbor's garage into the socket on the back of my house. I unplugged it the first time, figured it was an honest mistake. Then I caught him doing it again. I had a quiet word, said, "Mate, that's my Lecky you're using. It's on my meter." He just laughed it off and said it's only pennies, and the real estate management covers it anyway. It definitely does not. He did it again while I was out. So I've now fitted a lockable cover over the socket. This morning, I find a note through my letterbox saying since I've blocked the community socket, he'll need to charge his e-bike inside my house when it rains, and could I leave my back gate open for him on Saturday? The absolute cheek. I'm not trying to cause a war here. I even offered to go halves on getting a Sparky to fit an outdoor socket on his own wall, and he refused. Now I hear he's telling other neighbors I'm being tight. Have I gone over the top by locking it, or is he just a cheeky sod? I don't know whether to just ignore him or ring 101 for advice. This is just mad. The fact that the neighbor feels entitled to literally steal the electricity and then try to bash somebody because they can no longer steal electricity speaks volumes about the kind of person that neighbor really is. Hell, I'm shocked that OP offered to go half to get this entitled neighbor their own socket. And our final one is from Jenny Vicks. I'm 30 female, surgeon, and early this week, I was scheduled to do a gallbladder, laparoscopic cholecystectomy, removal on a patient. Nothing experimental, but important enough that you don't just push it off unless you absolutely have to. His adult daughter, maybe in her mid-20s, comes up to me right before we were about to head into the OR and asks if I can move it to later in the afternoon because she and her brother had brunch plans. Brunch? Well, their dad was literally waiting to have surgery. At first, I didn't know if I was to laugh because I thought she was joking, or not. She was very serious. Thought about walking away, but then I had to keep my cool and explain to her that surgery isn't like a haircut you can reschedule or a plate you can wash later. She didn't seem to be moved. She was still insisting and said, "You're the doctor. You can have another appointment to bump someone else. That's your job, and have my dad's later." I bit my tongue, but inside I was boiling. Like, sorry your father's health is messing up your pancakes and mimosas. The best part is that she threatened that she'd file a complaint against me later for being inflexible and unsympathetic to the family's needs. I will never understand people like that. I work insane hours, miss holidays, go without sleep, and somehow I'm the bad guy because I wouldn't reschedule surgery around brunch. That's pretty sad that the daughter is so entitled her brunch is way more important than her father's surgery. It really shows where her priorities lie, and I definitely wouldn't want her making decisions on my behalf. Hopefully the OP relayed that information to the father. Alright, that's enough entitlement for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Entitled People. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons and super thanks contributors. Have a great day and stay safe out there.